Alright, guys, so I know nobody's probably on right now, but I had some technical difficulties with, what's it called? Oh, did it just start? Yeah, so I had some technical difficulties with YouTube. They would not let me be great. So I decided to come on Facebook because I didn't have time to waste. I've already wasted time. Um, and whoever doesn't see this, they definitely will see it once I post it on Facebook and save it as an audio so I can post it on my podcast as well. But I'm trying to find. Oh, so the purpose of this is to allow others to comment and ask questions. And I don't know if you can get on live with me. I know you can on Instagram, but this is all new to me. But yeah, get on live with me and have a conversation. But I've been posting about having a conversation with people. For my next podcast. And so this conversation is going to be about a few different things. And I'm going to. I was trying to play some music, but what I'm going to do is play music that is free so I don't have to get tagged. So, but yes, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So, if you are coming on and stuff, just let me know, comment in the in the little comment section. But yeah, so like I said, I'm playing free music, like free beats, because I'm not trying to get tagged or anything with Facebook because they won't let me be great. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. So this is the live, my first semi-official live for Tipsy Monologue, Pour Into Your Soul podcast. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just do something different. So I'm going to actually get on here, allow people to comment on some of the stuff. Like I said, I was going to do it on YouTube because I have more followers and stuff like that on there. But they told me that I have to, because it was my first live stream ever, that I have to give it 24 hours. So here I am. But yeah, so I was actually going to talk to you guys about a few things. So I know that I had posted a lot about can men and women be friends and all of that stuff. And there was another thing that I posted about, but I wanted to come on here and just be like, okay, well, let's just go ahead and dive right into it. So, like I said, again, I know people are going to be coming in and out of the live, and I wanted to. Let me move this back a little bit. What is right here? So yeah, so I wanted to come on here. Like I said, the purpose of me coming on live is so everyone can like ask me questions and like it be more interactive than just me, getting on my podcast, recording it, and then putting it out, and like people give me feedback on the DMs and stuff, but it's not like interactive. So I'm trying to find different ways to make it more alive and more like my viewers, or my listeners I should say, have more say so and everything. So one thing I will say is, just getting right into my live podcast, is that I had a lot of different transitions. So recently I moved, and so I'm in a different place, and I wanted something that was a lot more brighter for my office and for my podcast, because you gotta be live, right? So yeah, so I put on Facebook, and let me see, I gotta get on here because, and of course the music's gonna stop because I got it from YouTube. So one of the topics was, can men and women be friends, right? And I'm gonna put that down here. Can men and women be just friends? So go ahead if you guys want to, like I said, be a part, like actually interact in the podcast to go ahead and like give your feedback when it comes to can men and women be friends, so we can actually have a conversation. Because like I said, sometimes when I have my podcast, it's like my opinion most of the time, right? Or it's facts and stuff that I found somewhere else. And, people give me feedback after the fact. So I just was like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and do this. So again, for people who are coming in and out, the purpose of this live podcast is to get more interaction from people and for you guys to be able to comment. And if I don't know, like I'm on the computer, and so this is kind of new to me when it comes to like the computer and Facebook Live. So I don't know if people can actually get into my lives and me accept it and then us talk and stuff like that. But if not, you got the comment section right here. Just let me know you're here, one. And then two, let me know what you think about this first topic. Can men and women be friends? Um, yeah, it's just, I can give my opinion all day. I'm just saying, I could really give my opinion all day on this. Okay, so I got one person. Y'all, I had another topic on here and I cannot find the topic. It was men and women be friends? And it was another one. But anyway, we'll stick to this one for right now. So it says, I feel like Louisa, hey Louisa, I feel like they can be friends. It depends whether they have feelings towards each other or not. And when that happens, it's often a one-sided way. Okay, perfect. So, all right, I'll come back to you, Brandon, but I saw it. Okay, so I will say that I agree slightly, right? Because I feel like they can be friends, and I also agree with sometimes it is one-sided. So like they'll be friends, but then one person keeps you in the friend zone because they only see you solely as a friend, especially if they haven't tried to pursue you, man or woman or whoever, right? And so and then she said, it depends whether they have feelings towards each other or not. And when that happens, it's often a one-sided way. Okay, so do you feel like in that instance, if you have a friendship, right, and you actually like, vibing with that person, do you feel like that person is just meant to be like just a friend? Like, do you feel like that person is just meant to be someone who y'all shouldn't go any further and stuff like that? And if it's most of the time being one-sided, I'm going to play devil's advocate, right? If it's most of the time being one-sided, well, can we actually be friends with, if you are heterosexual with the opposite sex, or if you aren't heterosexual and with the same sex or whatever the case may be? Because I don't think it's just a thing where it's like, okay, well, just men and women. But oftentimes, from what I've seen, even growing up, it's always this thing where it's like, okay, you got a friend, okay, they in the friend zone, okay, well, you hang out with them all the time, and then there's no like that's it, right? And so there are people out here that can do that, but do you feel like, Louisa, that it literally is just one-sided? Like, do you really feel like at some point, if two people continue to keep hanging out with each other over and over and over for extended periods of time, for years on end, that they will always establish some type of feelings for each other? I want to know. Okay, so Brandon said, friends like they have always been friends or dated and tried to be friends. Hey, Nicole. Okay, Brandon, so either or. I think it would be a lot harder for two people who have been in a relationship and then tried to revert backwards to the friendship stage, but either or. So let me know what you feel as far as that. So if we're talking about friends like they've always been friends, um, do you feel like they can solely just be friends with nothing, with no ties? And here's the thing: before answering that question, because look, I always play devil's advocate. I always try to like um, make things a little spicy. So here's the thing: unless you guys have had a conversation, which most of the time, if you're thinking that both of you guys are just solely looking at each other as friends, you're not going to have a conversation about liking each other or whatever the case may be. But let's just say you do. Like, if you have not had a full conversation with that person about where you guys see each other, and you guys, are actually saying like, hey, this is X, Y, and Z, or we both feel the same way, we both friend zone each other, or whatever the case may be, then do you actually know, right? Because I've actually had some friends in the past, and even myself, where I would go, try to bring this up, where I would go years in friendships with people, and then to later find out after either we just grew apart, or after high school, whatever the case may be, that they were feeling me. And then that would be the same thing for like friends that I have even right now, like, or my other friends and stuff like that I've had conversations with. Like, they would legit say, well, I would never know, because I never had that conversation with her, or I've never had that conversation with him, because why would we talk about that type of stuff? But my thing is, if you genuinely don't know, then how can we actually say like, oh yeah, they can be friends. Yeah, they can be friends to a certain degree, as far as to your knowledge. So you guys could be rocking for years, but you don't know. I mean, the people say like, oh, most of the time that type of stuff is normally like movie type stuff, and they project certain things, when it comes to like movies and everything like that. And it's just like, for me, okay, all right, Emerson. So okay, I'm gonna come back. So, um, yeah, like, they project certain things on movies and stuff like that. But for me, I'm like, well, where do some of these ideas come from, right? So, okay, Emerson, my best friend is a woman. I wouldn't want it any other way. Okay, and that makes sense. Like, and I don't. I think that it can't. I think that, for that topic, a lot of people will say, well, for me, right? For me, though, I wouldn't have it any other way, or for me, those things aren't prevalent. Like, even having to worry about being even have to worry about dealing with that, like, even worried about, okay, well, can we do we have to have a conversation about that? Like, some people genuinely have friends that they only see as friends. What would you guys do? So, to kind of turn it up a notch, what would you guys do if you found out later on that your female friend or your male friend or whoever actually liked you at some point? Not, it doesn't have to necessarily be right now. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the when you guys first met. But how would you guys how would you guys feel if you found out later on that that person actually did have feelings for you, but when they realized that you just solely saw them as a friend, or they weren't, or you weren't checking for them, that they decided, all right, well, I'm just gonna it's kind of like, put it out of sight, out of mind. Like, just, I want to know, because for me, because it's a live podcast, I'm not gonna sit here and say like how I feel about it, because like I said, on my regular podcast, I always say how I feel about something. Very transparent, very honest about stuff, no matter what it is. And so I just want to know you guys' opinions. I really do, because I genuinely want to know, like, where your heads are at when it comes to that. And I know, Brandon, earlier you said, I mean, in your message or your comment, you were like, you were trying to figure out if it was like just I've always been friends, or dated and tried to be friends. Do you guys feel like it's easier to continue a friendship with someone, um, that literally you've always saw as a friend, or do you feel like it's easier if it's like you guys dated, so you kind of already know each other, and you guys then end in bad blood? And do you feel like it's easier to actually have that understanding to be like, okay, well, we're actually obviously we didn't work, so we're just gonna be friends? I gave y'all a few moments on that. Especially while I try to find the other topic. I'm so mad about that topic, guys, because your girl had it. And I'm gonna see if I sent it to somebody in my messages because that does happen. Hmm. Let me put can men and nah, take your time. Uh, oh, they were on Facebook. I mean Instagram, and y'all know how Instagram be. All right, so that sucks, man, because I think they went hand in hand. Let me see if I sent it to somebody on Facebook. I'm really like trying to figure this out. This happens on my regular podcast too, by the way. So I literally, okay, let me see. If someone told me they liked me years later, it's kind of like, okay, I mean, what do you want me to do with that information? Okay, so I didn't say that they choose to. That's literally all of it is, a decision. Okay, hey Chanel. Okay, so Brandon, yeah, I mean, absolutely, and I don't think it's a thing where it's like we have to like dive deeply into like a conversation or change what we're doing because that one person was like, oh yeah, so you know how I liked you 5 years ago, yeah, I saw to let you know, like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like that's not a really I don't think it's a thing where it's like, okay, go beyond. But I see what you're saying. Like that's pretty much how you would respond to that situation, being like, what am I supposed to do with that information? But I think the question was, if you had like if you were still friends with this person, and that person ended up telling you like they used to like you, but okay, so yeah, so they used to like you, but obviously they saw that you wasn't checking for them, right? So does that mean that their feelings for you just completely died, right? Like that's I mean, hey, that's the thing. But some people, and I've seen this, I think I've done it, where if someone did say something like that, and I've pretty much had responses like you, Brandon, where it was like, okay, but it did make things a little awkward afterwards because we were still friends, right? And so, and I wanted to, and me being a conversationalist, I wanted to really like continue to keep asking questions, and that's only because I wanted to know where they were at now, because that would actually help me as far as certain things that they have told me. I remember a time I had a friend that I was like in love with. And like I said, I'm always transparent with you guys. So right. So I had a friend that I was in love with for years. And what happened was um, I got a whole lot of mixed feelings, but that's besides the point. So in that sense, when I finally expressed my feelings to that person, it allowed for an open dialogue, but at the same time, moving forward, because we were still friends, he started questioning my motives of certain advice that I was giving him, because he thought now that my advice that I was giving him was based off of me liking him and basically being like a Nikki from Parker's, like either you gonna have me or nobody, right? And it wasn't, but it was hard, especially for I'm not going to say males. I'll just say for him being a male, particularly just him, right? It was hard for him to see anything outside of that. And so it changed the dynamic when it came to that. 2%, give me a second. I'll be right back. Got Okay, Brandon. I'll still be on here. So yeah, so that's something that that's something that does happen. And it does happen quite a lot. And going off of you, Chanel, like, you say anybody can strictly be platonic friends if they choose to. It's a decision. So I would say, I would say for me, and just, obviously these are all just opinions and stuff like that, but for me, I don't think so. And the reason why, or I disagree slightly with that. I do think it is a choice when it comes to how you react to that person and the things you choose to do with that person. But as far as the liking and the emotional tie or connection, whatever the case may be, sometimes that's not helped. And I know some people are like, well, yeah, you can help, all the things that you do. But I'm like, I've been through it, man. And it's just like, I've had people that I have male friends that I'm strictly just friends with. Oh, Alina, why are you acting crazy when your mom is on the live? No, I'm just kidding. but but yeah, I've had that happen, to me and stuff like that. And like I said, I even have uh male friends now that were strictly friends. And I actually have a friend that I used to date, and we are strictly friends now. But at the same time, it's my choice to make sure, and he probably gonna hate me for this, but it's my choice. It was my choice, I should say, especially when things were fresh, to just be solely friends and platonic friends afterwards. And it was my choice. It was my choice to not react to certain things. But that is hard because, like I said, when it comes to certain people, you know what I'm saying? Like, you really do have to know what their motives are after that. So I think that men and women, it's like a double-edged sword, right? So I think or not even that double-edged sword. It's like is it a catch-22? All right, whatever. Like I said, this is how I be on my podcast, y'all. But I think and like I said, these are I thinks. I think men and women can be friends as long as those people are interacting in a way where they have an understanding of what this is. And I also think, even going deeper into this subject, a part of that is having communication across the board, because I think sometimes we have it instilled in us that humans are only supposed to give 100% to their significant others, people who they're attracted to. And they don't even, they're not thinking about all relationships and all aspects. So when when scientists, or when psychologists and all of these different therapy techniques come out, people are quick to use them for relationships, as in significant other relationships. But they're not. Hold on, guys. But yeah, they're not putting them into all relationships. So when you have the understanding and communication when it comes to the relationships in your life, I think that it allows for that open dialogue to happen, so you know where these people stand. And sometimes, even if that person likes you, because I had, and me as well. Like I've had situations like that too, on the opposite end, where people have liked me and I've only saw them as a friend, but I had those difficult conversations. And when we lack the when we lack the sincerity of the person's feelings to actually have those difficult conversations, that's when it becomes a problem, and that's when people say, "Oh, men and women can't be friends," and two people who are one person who's attracted to another person can't be their friend. And I think it goes deeper. I think it's literally a thing where you have to establish what a friendship is to you. Everybody's values are different, so